This is Shamim Khan from IPU TV. A very warm welcome indeed. Indeed, a great pleasure to have you in our studio. Honorable Member of Parliament from Zimbabwe. Thank you so very much indeed for coming to our studio. Would you please introduce yourself and give a brief background?
My name is PARADZAI. I'm a Member of Parliament from Harare in Zimbabwe. I represent a constituency called Zaka Central Constituency in Masvingo Province. I've been a member of the Interparliamentary Union since 2013, and I stand in the Standing Committee on Democracy and Human Rights. That is the committee that I'm always active, and also the General Assembly.
You're the right person to ask. What are the key features to strengthen democracy, and how do you ensure human rights to its fullest? And what are the agendas and the resolutions that you have taken and you're about to share here at this Interparliamentary Union Assembly?
First of all, I would like to start from my own country, my own nation.
Yes.
Zimbabwe is a democratic state. We had our first democratic elections in 1980, and successively we've had our elections every 5 years. So we are now a mature democracy in terms of elections and people's right to choose their own leaders that represent them both in the National Assembly and the Senate. You are aware that Zimbabwe at one time had two governments of national unity, one in 1987 when then ZAPU and ZANU united to form a united ZANU-PF. We had a government of national unity. And then we also had another government of national unity in 2008. That is when the opposition MDC and ZANU-PF formed a unity government. In 2013, after writing a new constitution, which ushered the interests of almost every Zimbabwean, that constitution was written by Zimbabweans themselves, and that is the constitution that brought about the current democracy that we have. And elections were held in 2018. We're going to have another set of elections in 2018. So in terms of democracy, in terms of Zimbabwe, we have done extremely well in terms of democracy. Coming to human rights, like I'm saying, we've got a constitution that was written by Zimbabweans in 2012, which brought about elections in 2018. That constitution has the Bill of Rights for our own people, for our own nationals. And so that is the kind of rights that we are enshrined in our constitution. Now, coming to the Standing Committee on Democracy and Human Rights, I come here, what I have seen and what I have experienced over the years, over the past 4 years, is that there are a number of countries in the world that are struggling with human rights and democracy. I think even this morning they were discussing issues in my own continent about what is happening in Democratic Republic of Congo, in Sudan, just to mention but a few that we are talking about. We also have instances where certain presidents have constitutional infringements wherein their terms come to an end and then they want to perpetrate their legacy in those positions. So this is what I have experienced and I have seen. We also have other instances where other countries in other continents have also featured on the list of countries that are failing to allow their neighbors to exercise their democratic rights, as well as giving people the rights to human dignity and their right to elect a government of their own choice. So these are some of the things that I have learned over the years. Of late, we've also been discussing issues to do with rights of adolescents, rights of children, rights of women, gender equality and so forth, to say, let's give a level platform to women to exercise their rights to leadership, their rights to health, their rights to education, their rights to employment, their rights to equal salaries. There are still countries in the world that are still paying different remunerations to women to men. And those are some of the issues that we have actually been deliberating in the committee, in the Standing Committee on Democracy and Human Rights, to say, let's foster the agenda of gender equality in the world.
Strengthen is women empowerment there in Zimbabwe?
I think Zimbabwe is one of the countries that has done extremely well in terms of gender equality. First of all, our head of delegation here is the president of the Senate, and she's a woman. Okay. Right. Secondly, our deputy speaker of the National Assembly is a woman. In our constitution right now, we have reserved 60 seats in the National Assembly for women. Also in the upper chamber, we reserved 30 seats for women. So seats that we have reserved for women in total are 90 seats. So that actually tells you Zimbabwe is doing a lot in terms of gender equality. Over and above that, in our both the upper and lower house, we have got over 33% of those representatives as women. So Zimbabwe has done very well. As I speak right now, out of a total of about 40 ministers, I can tell you that 40% of those ministers in Zimbabwe are women. Let alone also heads of parastatals and private institutions. Almost 30% of those heads of parastatals and governments are women. So we have moved this road quite extensively, and we have done extremely well compared to even other developed countries. I know our former colonizers, Britain, are sitting at 20%, and we are already on 33%.
Commendable.
Yes.
Women empowerment.
Women empowerment, yes. If we also go into business, we also have a lot of women that have done also extremely well in business, and we have an association of business women in Zimbabwe. So we have a lot of women that are doing business as individuals, and some of the companies are actually listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. So in terms of women empowerment, Zimbabwe has done very well.